Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I'm going to speak in English only, as this workshop is made or tailored towards those who are advanced, or at least in a good level that they can understand and speak a few words. So it's always good to seize the opportunity and use the English language, whether it's only for 2 hours or less even. So for now, I'm going to only speak in English. So our topic, what we need to, not a topic, but what we need together to do is to practice listening and speaking. This is a workshop, not a lecture. Although I'm going to give you some advice on how you can practice effectively, how you can practice listening and speaking effectively, using the secret weapon, let's call it, which is called connotation. I assume a lot of people don't know what the meaning of connotation is. So we're going to explain it further as we go along with the course, with the workshop. So I'm not going to be the only one speaking. I hope that we can interact together, we can talk together, and we can practice together. Do not be ashamed or afraid or shy to actually speak. And even if you make mistakes, it's fine. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. So always seize the opportunity and speak and listen and practice the language so that you can improve. So let's start. Bismillah. What goes in your mind when you hear the word war? If you know if you want to participate, please raise your hand so that I can give you the mic. What goes in your mind when you hear the word war? Okay, wait a second. Let me see. Hajar, go ahead.
أعتقد أن معناها حرب.
I'm not talking about the meaning in Arabic. I'm talking about what goes in your mind when you hear the word war. What do you see in your mind? If you try to explain it further in English, if you can. Who wants to participate? Okay, Maryam Taha, go on. Maryam?
Yes.
What goes in your mind when you hear the word war?
Dangers, fire.
Wow.
Danger.
Fire. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. Who wants to participate as well? Let's see. Abdul Athim. أو العظيم. Abdul Azim. Go on. What goes in your mind when you hear the word war?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for war, but the thing that I'm thinking about, that we are defending ourselves, so we make war sometime.
Okay, what do you feel when you hear the word war? Like, what do you see anything in your brain, or do you listen?
It doesn't seem good. It doesn't seem good, but like sometimes we have to make war to defend in ourselves, for ourselves. And sometimes it's happening for a bad way or for a bad reasons.
Amazing. Okay.
So
I
it
understand.
depends.
So yes, that's very good. Although you haven't really answered the question, which is, what do you see when you hear the word war? What do you think about? Like, what do you think? Is it maybe you said like defense, right? So you think about defense and how you want to defend yourself, or you defend the ones who you care about, which is good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Abdulaziz.
Thank you so much.
Who wants to participate as well? By the way, there's a present, a gift for the one who participates the most. The one that participates the most, there's a gift for them, arranged by AFAQ personnel. Okay. So this guy, JGHUTF, go ahead. JGHUTF. What goes in your mind when you hear the word war? Okay, I think you got the general idea, which is what? When you hear the word war, or any word actually, you will see it in your mind, right? Let's see it. Let's see an example. See this image, right? You might have a similar image pop up inside your brain. You think about, once you hear the word war, you feel like you are actually, you live your experiences with war, that you see the news and you see the people getting killed or had it's a painful experience. And right, so this process, this experience, these images all pop up in your head, right? So once you hear the word connects you to what? To an experience, or to an image, or to a concept. So let's examine it further. What makes humans capable of producing, inventing, and understanding words? Who wants to participate? How can we make words? How can we create words? How can we invent words? Humans are the only species that can produce, speak, right? And use words, even invent words that are for new stuff, right? So what makes us capable of doing that? Do you have any idea? Who wants to participate? Maybe it's a hard question. If you want to participate, raise your hand. Okay, some people actually use the chat to answer, but it's fine. We want to practice listening and speaking. You see, when there's a conversation, you will listen first, then you will speak. So this is the goal of this workshop, which is what? Which is to listen and speak, and try to practice English as much as possible, while me giving you some advice, all that I can. So Muayyad al-Khalaf. Okay, go on, Muayyad. What makes humans capable of producing, inventing, and understanding words?
Human being have brain, so human have mind. He can think, he can learn. So that's the difference between human and animal. So we have brain, we have mind, so we can learn. مكان speech.
Thank you very much. You are definitely correct. You're definitely right. So that's the difference between us and animals, right? The fact that we actually can think, that we can process stuff in our brain. So what is the brain made of? Do you know? Have you heard of what goes inside of our brain? So Elon Musk actually is working in something close to this, right? With I don't want to say the word, maybe you will catch it. So who knows what goes in our brain? So what makes us remember even? How can we remember stuff? How can we how can we remember? Okay, Yaqeen, go ahead, Yaqeen.
Okay, I'm not sure about that, but I think when we read a novel or there are lots of stories or we listen a lot of stories, we can make a lot of words about the feeling, and we can make some sentence about the feeling like that, يعني.
Thank you very much. So I don't know how this relates so much to the question, but it's good that you participate. So I congratulate you, and I thank you so much, Yaqeen. Okay, so listening to stories, as you said, right? Listening to stories, and then try to guess the meaning of words. This is a very good practice, and I will come back to this once we learn about connotation. So let's see the second question. How do humans think? How can we remember stuff? How can we think? What makes us capable of thinking? There is something inside of our brain. There's a lot of things inside of our brain, and there's a name for it. Who knows what is inside of our brain? Human memory. Okay, good. But what makes this human memory even possible? There are some connections inside of our brain. The connections are between what? Okay, Muayyad al-Khalaf, again. Go ahead.
Inside our brain, there is some a neuron, and there is some cells, some blood, and that some electrical signal is coming together. This is what the science said about it, maybe.
Amazing, amazing. You are definitely right. So what I wanted you to say, which was neurons. You said it. Thank you so much. Neurons are what? Are what makes are these electrical signals, as you said, that are connected with a lot of what we go through in life. So everything you go through in life, and you remember in your brain, is connected with a neuron. So there are a lot of neurons in your brain that can help you think and remember and recall stuff. So how can we register and retain information inside of our brain? It's the neurons. And how can we remember them? Also the neurons. So the neurons are made of connections. Do you know what is similar to a neuron? Or let's say a language. A language is like a brain. I will explain later. A language is like a brain that is made of connections. A language is also made of connections, which we will talk about in the upcoming slides. Okay. What is a thought made of? Yeah, this one is good. What is a thought made of? Like if you have a thought, what do you have exactly? Can you describe this thought to us? If you have a thought in your brain, what is it? How does it look like? Okay, Muayyad again. Go ahead.
It is a mix of experience and some photo inside our brain. So when we have thought, we have image in our mind. We experience maybe some sound, some feeling. So that's when it is coming together that will make some thought.
Thank you very much, Muayyad. You are definitely correct. It's the image, the concept, the idea, as Maryam said, the idea and the concept, right? This is the thought. It's it's the experience, it's the image, it's the concept, and it's the object, it's the associations that we have, it's the let's say the connections as well. Just a second. Okay. Right? So yeah, this is what a thought made of. It's a bunch of experiences and a bunch of images, let's say. Even sound can be a thought. See, these musicians that invent new music, don't they think? Of course they have thoughts, right? They have these thoughts that create these musical tones and these music pieces, right? Musical songs. So these thoughts are not only words, right? So how to articulate thoughts? How can we bring these thoughts into the world? How can we articulate them, bring them to life? So I have a thought in my brain, but what is the benefit of this thought if I cannot say it out loud? We have to know, or we need to know, how we can convert this thought into spoken words. So these spoken words convey the meaning that we want from these thoughts. They convey the thoughts themselves, right? But through words. So, okay, what do words represent? I just answered this question, but I want someone to participate. So, what do words represent? Raise your hand if you want to participate. Raise your hand. If we have a word, right, what does it refer to? Look, what does it represent? What is it exactly? All of them have the same answer. The previous questions, which are, what is a thought made of? How do humans think, right? Right, these have the same, or a close answer, let's say, which is what? Which is connotation. Connotation, the answer is connotation, which is what? This is a definition. Connotation refers to the multitude of experiences, emotions, associations, connections, memories, meaning, and images. And we may also add concepts. So connotation is the combination of these through your mind. When you listen to somebody, when you listen to someone, you immediately link the words, you form a picture inside your brain, you form an action and something that is happening inside your brain that resembles these words that you hear. So for example, earlier we gave this example about war. Let's give another example. Let's say water. Once I say the word water, for example, you will immediately imagine some water, whether it's a water bottle or a lake or a waterfall or the sea. So you will immediately think about water. So this connection from water to the concept, to the experience, to the connotation. What I want you to understand is this, the connection from the word towards directly the connotation. The connotation is the experience, it's the image, it's the memory, it's the connection, so on and so forth. Okay, so connotation, it's very powerful. Why? How can connotation help us learn or improve speaking and listening? How can connotation help us improve our speaking skills and listening skills? Who has an idea? If you want to participate, please raise your hand. How can connotation help us? Understanding connotation. From your understanding, is there any connection to it, to listening and speaking? Let me explain further. Okay. Language acquisition links to connotation. Language acquisition links to connotation. A language is made of connections. Connotation is the concept that is connected to the word. As I said earlier, a connotation is the concept, right? The connotation is the concept, the experience, the memory, right? It's directly connected to the word. For example, the word fire. The word fire is directly connected to fire as an image of flames that you would directly imagine in your mind. The triggering of the connotation, the concept, directly from the word without a middleman is a result of what we call language acquisition. Traditional learning forces you to have your native mother tongue as the middleman to learning another language, which is impractical and makes you very slow when speaking and producing language, whether it's a written form or a spoken form. So, what I want you to understand from this is that there is a connection. The language is made of connections. How? When you connect, when you use traditional learning, just like in school, you might learn a word, a new word, right? And this word you will say, for example, let's say fire, right? The same example as in here. Fire, you will learn the meaning in Arabic, which is nar, right? Then you will connect nar, nar will be connected to the connotation, the concept of nar, the image, right? So you will have three things connected together. The concept, the connotation of nar, of fire, then the word nar in Arabic, and then this word nar is connected to the word fire. So we have three connections, which is very bad, not good. The lesser the connections, the fewer the connections, the better for retaining and for acquiring the language, for practicing as well. It will not make you slow. How? Look at the following. See, listening and speaking with connotation. Listen to the words and directly think of the intended connotation without relying on Arabic in the process. From word to the concept directly. There is no middleman here. There is no Arabic. So from the word in English, which is fire, immediately to the image of fire in your brain. There is no middleman here. There is no nar. Do not think of nar. Do not think of Arabic. Do not think of any Arabic words when you try to learn the other language words, whether it's English or any language really. So this is the concept of acquisition. Acquisition. All right. This is for listening, right? This word, you hear a word and then you will imagine the concept directly without translating it to Arabic. Is that clear? Do everyone understand what I'm saying? I hope so. Okay, for speaking, think of the desired connotation that you want to convey and pick the words that best resemble it without relying on Arabic in the process. You see, here, it's kind of like the opposite. You think of the concept first, you think of the connotation, what you want to actually say, what you want to speak about. First, you think about it like that, like what we said, the connotation from your experiences, from your memories, from the images that you previously gone through, so on and so forth. So, for example, if I want to talk about a water bottle, right? I will first think about water bottle. I will imagine it. I will have this connotation. Then I will say the word. I will bring the output, right? I will say the word, which is water or water bottle. This is the concept. Where is the camera? This is the concept. This is the connotation. And I want to say it out loud. This object, this concept, is directly linked to the word, which is water bottle, right? Okay. Everything's clear here? Is there any question? Is there any question about this, the connotation aspect of it? Or can we go further? Any question? Okay, let's carry on then. Let's carry on. Muayyad, go on. You have a question? Go on.
Yes. So that means if we are learning English, so it is not good to to use Google Translation. So we will translate from English to Arabic to understand. This is not a good way for learning.
Definitely, this is one way of understanding what I said. Yes, which is not to rely on translation. It doesn't mean that it's wrong to translate. No, but if you want to practice, do not practice while thinking in Arabic and trying to translate things into Arabic in your brain. If you want to translate to understand the main idea once in a while, it's fine. But do not practice it. Do not practice this in your brain as often, or never actually. In your brain, always think about English without any Arabic. So, for example, okay, without any examples, let's go to the next slide. You will understand what I'm saying. So, acquisition versus learning. Language acquisition is to acquire a language naturally and subconsciously, just like when a child acquires his or her first language. See, language acquisition, as this says, it's like what? It's like when children acquires their first language. You know, when a child is born, they cannot speak immediately a language, right? They will have to acquire the language. And how can these children actually acquire the language? Does anyone have any idea? How can these children pick up languages so fast that we adults try so hard that we still cannot produce as fluent as we cannot be as fluent as the children when they were young, right? And still when they grow up, because it's their first language. What makes them special? What is the secret here? What makes children capable of acquiring the language and being fluent maybe through 2, 3, 4 years, they will be able to fluently speak and listen and write, right? With others. What is the secret? Does anyone have any idea? Please participate. Raise your hand and participate. There is no shame about participation, even if you make mistakes. Repeating what people around him say. Okay, that's one thing. Yeah, definitely. Repeating, repetition. What else? What is the secret? See, repeating doesn't work really. Let me tell you why. Because we are adults here. If we just repeat, it's fine. It works. Let me correct that. Yes, repetition is very powerful, right? But still, a lot of people repeat stuff, but they don't really get much better. They will get better, but not much, not so much. Why? What makes children special when learning their first or acquiring their first language? A child with a clearer mind. Yes, I like that. Yes, because he doesn't have anything to worry about, right? He doesn't have humum of life. So any concerns, yeah, humum means concerns. He doesn't have any concerns about life and family and wife and children, school stuff. So his mind is clear. He can easily acquire the language. You're right. You're definitely right. It definitely helps to have a clear mind. Okay, maybe their family, they always talk with their children in this language. It's not maybe, it's the fact. This is what happens. The family will talk to their children in the language, in the first language, right? And if the family or relatives or the people around him speak 2 languages, do the children pick up the 2 languages, or is it only the first language? From their family or the place they come from and their jobs, schools. Okay, I've never heard a child that picked his first language from a job. Children cannot work at this يعني when they are so young, right? Yeah. Okay, schools. Good. Only the first language. See, no, not only the first language. When you have children surrounded by people who speak, let's say, 2 languages, and they interact with these children, they will pick up these 2 languages, not only 1 language. They will pick up these 2 languages, and they may not really differentiate at the beginning between the 2 languages, but as they grow up, it will feel like a 1 language, although there are 2 languages. To them, it feels like only 1 language. The children are faster than adults when learning a new thing, maybe. Not necessarily faster in everything, but it's definitely faster when it comes to languages. So this is the weird thing about languages, which makes children acquire the language very fast compared to adults. Because the adult has 2 languages while the child focuses on his language alone? Not necessarily. No, not really. Because the adult has 2 languages? No, not necessarily. No, I just said that there are children who pick up languages, more than even 2 languages, 3, 4 languages when they were young, so young, they can pick up so many languages, even 4, 5, 6 languages. Easily, through 7, 8, 9 years of age, they will still pick up these languages and they will still be fluent on them all. Maybe not as maybe not without so many words, vocabulary words, but still they will be considered fluent. Also through some useful programs that teach the language intended for children. Yes, definitely. So then the short answer is acquisition and connotation. The short answer is acquisition and connotation. which is what? Acquisition is when you what? This is a definition. When you acquire the language naturally. How does this happen? By being surrounded by the people who talk this language. Let's imagine we are a child. We are children. Let's imagine we are children. Okay, and we want to speak. What will happen first? They will not be able to speak directly, right? They want to acquire the language, so they are at a very young age. They will only listen to what their parents say, and they might reach this level of saying Baba, Mama, right? Later on, they will keep on listening without much words spoken. Maybe there will be a time that the child will speak, but not that you will not understand everything from him. The parents might understand because they got used to their child, but when a random person, they will not understand what this child says. So this level, this stage, the child is speaking, although not clearly. So listening and speaking, right? And in the listening stage, does the child, or can the child see? Can the child see what surrounds him? Yes, right? He has eyes. So the acquisition, language, yeah. Okay, language acquisition is about what? It's not only about listening. It's about being alive in the moment, seeing the thing in front of him, calling it out by a word. Seeing the thing is the connotation, the concept. Then naming this concept, this connotation to this child by calling it something like water. See, this child is here, and he was playing with this water bottle with his mouth. The parent will say to the child, do not play with the water, right? Do not play with the water. They will move the water bottle away. So the child saw that the water bottle was removed, right? And that the parent said the word water bottle. So he will make this connection, although not strong enough still, right? But he will make this small connection that this water bottle is called water bottle. I see it. This is a connotation. Okay, this is a water bottle, right? This is what happens with children. By time, the parents or any other relatives will use this word again with water bottles or with water alone, right? They will have a glass of water, right? The child will hear this word again, and he will see this glass of water. So water is repeated now. There is a sequence of this occurrence, right? So he will immediately solidify the meaning, the connotation, connection to the word. He will solidify this connection. He will make it stronger and stronger. So the more you acquire the language by what? By listening and seeing the connotation and imagining the connotation and feeling the connotation, right? The emotions, right? So, for example, when you see the parent acting angrily, right? And there's shouting, screaming. So the child sees this parent like that, and the parent says to him, do not make me angry. He's thinking right away, he will make this connection again with this emotion, that screaming and shouting is him acting like an angry person, right? So this is what acquisition is all about. Trying to simulate the reality that children lives through with adults. Is that possible? Yes, possible. How? You can go back to, you can go back to the course I gave earlier before in Afaq as well. I gave this course. I explained a lot of concepts about acquisition. You can go through this course and learn from it for yourself, although it was in Arabic. So yeah, acquisition with adults is possible, not as good as when you are a child, because the I don't understand what miracle does the child actually have to be able to exactly replicate the pronunciation of any language without struggling, right? Exact replica of the pronunciation, the accents. So you can acquire the language, but I cannot promise you that you will have the exact accent as the people you are listening to, for example, Americans or British people or whatever. So can you reach a very good level in terms of the accent when you acquire the language? Yes, definitely. You can reach a very good level, but still you will be noticeable, identifiable that, okay, this guy is not a native English speaker. I can see that. I can hear it. I can feel it, right? That's what you also experience with the foreigners who speak Arabic. Even though they might be able to speak Arabic very well, still they may not be able to. Still, you will spot them directly. You will say, "Yeah, you're not a native Arabic speaker. It feels wrong. Your Arabic language is really good, but it feels wrong. You're not a native speaker." So, yeah. How can we acquire the language? Simply by what? By living the reality and simulating the life of a child to an adult. Surround yourself with people who can speak the language. Listen to the people who speak the language. Convert everything that surrounds you into the language, so on and so forth, into the English language, until you reach a level where you do not, where you can speak as fast as you think. This is fluency. When you reach this level, when you are fluent, you can speak as fast as you think. All right? Yes, we can't learn everything from the language. Yeah, you mean the accent. Okay, yeah. So which method is better? Learning the what is it? The traditional learning in school, where you have this book, they give you the words, you'll try to memorize these words and try to memorize the grammar. When you see and put the word with ing and so on and so forth, it's not really useful, especially for someone who's just beginning to learn/acquire a language, right? It's not useful. When is it useful? It's useful when you are already fluent with the language. You can learn the language. Yes, you are right. Learning the language is good. What I mean by that is learning the grammar, learning new vocabulary words. But wait a minute, you are fluent. That's what happens with children when they go to elementary school. They already know how to speak their native language. They already know how to speak. But now they are fluent, yeah. But now they are going to know how to write well and how to read well, so on and so forth, through elementary school. Yes, we can't learn. Okay. Any questions about this? Is there any question? We're going after this slide. We will go to we are going to do a practice through a video. I picked this video randomly. I felt like it's going to be very useful. So we are going to play the video, right? And try to listen to the speaker and imitate what he says or what she says exactly as it's said. So let's go to this video. Let me share the video now. You can find the video in my Telegram channel. The Telegram channel link is right here in the PowerPoint slides. I will share the PowerPoint slides in the WhatsApp group and also in my Telegram channel as well. So yeah, all my files and the courses that I give to or that I do with Afaq, you will find them in this link in my Telegram channel. If you need, let me try to copy this. It doesn't work. Okay, so let me run the video, play the video. Before playing the video, before playing the video, I want to make this remark first. Watch the video that I'm going to play. Watch it 10 times at least. And write down everything you hear from the video. Write it down. Even if you don't know the spelling of words, it's fine. Try to guess the spelling and write it down, right? Finish writing the entire video from only listening to it without any subtitles. If you can write what you hear very well, then you have a very good ear. You have very good ear of the language, I mean, the pronunciation of the letters, you don't struggle so much. Okay? Yeah, and here, as I said, you can find the video on and all courses files in my Telegram channel. Here it is. So there's a question here. What do you advise us to learn the language other than the traditional method in schools? It's using the acquisition. We spent most of the this lecture or this workshop explaining acquisition, which is what? Which is by what? Which is by movies, repeating movies, listening to them, or maybe going to America or going to the country that has the native speakers of the language you want to learn or acquire, or surround or the easy question. The easy answer of the method is to convert everything that surrounds you into English. The YouTube channel, the YouTube channels that you watch in Arabic, convert them into English. Find the similar hobbies, similar interests that you that interests you personally, and watch them in English rather than Arabic. The settings of the mobile phone, change it to English. Do not use Arabic at all, at least for 6, 7 months or 1 year. And through repetition, repeat, as one of you said earlier. Repeat what you hear. Repeat them exactly as they say them. So let's play the video now, and we'll talk more about that. Taking with, what is it? Make a conversation with the cleaner. Okay, good. Make a conversation with the cleaner. It's fine. But if you find native English speakers, it will be better, right? Because you can listen to the exact pronunciation, the correct pronunciation, rather than any maybe wrong pronunciation from others. Okay. Okay, let's play the video.
We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how there are a lot of types of animals, we all live in a
Can you
world of
hear?
numbers, but just like how
Can you hear what the video, what the person says in the video? Is there any sound? No? Okay, let's see, wait.
there are a lot of types of animals.
Okay. Okay, you can hear. The sound not clear? Not clear. Okay, I will start again, and tell me if you can hear well.
We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how there are a lot of types of animals in the world, there are a lot of types of numbers out there as well. To learn all these, let's travel all the way back to the Egyptians and the Babylonians and maybe
Raise the sound. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Send it better. I can hear it. Okay, someone can hear it, but still it's not that good, huh? Okay, let me try to do this. Okay, I will share it with you in yeah, it's going to be in Telegram, but let me try to do one more try with this one. Give me a second.
Baptist in India named Brahmagupta pondered this.
Can you hear anything? When I just paused it because I want to see if you can hear or not. Could you hear anything from what the video says? What is it? No? What about now? Not clear.
But just like how there are a lot of types of animals in the world, there are a lot of types of numbers out there as well. So to learn all these, let's travel all the way back to the Egyptians and the Babylonians when they first came up with what we call natural.
Maybe because of the mic. Okay, let me try this. Let me try this and share sound. Yeah, I see from here. Good. Problem solved. Problem solved. Let me see.
We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how there are a lot of types of animals in our world, there are a lot of types of numbers out there as well. So to learn all of these, let's travel all the way back to the Egyptians and the Babylonians when they first came up with what we call natural.
Okay, if you can hear now, then it's good. What we want to do now is to listen to the entire video first. Okay, very good. We're here now. Good. So I want you to listen to the entire video, and then we will do some, we will ask some questions about the video, and we'll see who can answer the questions and who can participate more, okay? And we will also practice repeating what the person says once we finish the video. Okay, so let's start the video again from the beginning, and please pay attention as I will not stop the video. I will not pause the video until the end of the video. Okay, thank you very much.
We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how there are a lot of types of animals in our world, there are a lot of types of numbers out there as well. So to learn all of these, let's travel all the way back to the Egyptians and the Babylonians when they first came up with what we call natural numbers. These are numbers that we use every day, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And these are also known as counting numbers because we can literally use them to count things. Like I have 1 head, you have 2 eyeballs, and I have 10 fingers. Even Google is based on a counting number. The name Google comes from one Google, and that is 1 with 100 zeros behind it. So natural numbers are pretty useful, but the story doesn't end here. A few hundred years after that, a mathematician in India named Brahmagupta pondered this: how do I count nothing? For example, if this basket has 3 apples and this basket has 1 apple, how do we represent a basket with no apples? Thus, 0 was born and our world of numbers expanded with a new layer called whole numbers. And now whole numbers are basically the same as natural numbers, but now we include a 0. So time went on, mathematicians all over the world were just happy chipping away at their math problems when all of a sudden a few of them, first in China and then in Greece and then in India, started getting answers that were below 0. You and I know that these are just negative numbers, but back then it was a strange concept to think about. So to solve this problem, mathematicians put their foot down and said, you know what, we're gonna create a whole new subset of numbers and call it negative numbers. The invention of negative numbers now added on a new layer to our world called integers. And this includes all the whole numbers and all the natural numbers from earlier, but now includes their negative counterparts. Then in 6th century BC, good old Pythagoras came along and said, what happens if we take one integer and then create a ratio over another integer? And thus, he discovered rational numbers. Notice how the word rational has the word ratio inside of it. These are numbers like 1/2, -5/9, 0.7, and 0.3 repeating. A rational number is basically any number in the world that you can write as a fraction. So even though 0.7 is a decimal, you can still write that as a fraction 7/10. And even though 0.3 repeating is a repeating decimal, you can write it as a fraction 1/3. But then, are there any numbers in the world that can't be written as a fraction? Yes, there are. And these are called irrational numbers, but they can't sit with the rest of the crew. Now, irrational numbers are just numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. You probably know the number pi, that's pretty famous, and that is 3.14159 and so on. That's irrational. Or how about the golden ratio? And actually, a lot of square roots are irrational numbers, like the square root of 2 and the square root of 3. Let's go back for a second to our good friend Pythagoras. Now, Pythagoras, since he invented rational numbers, he hated the idea of irrational numbers. And legend has it that one day, one of his followers came up to him and said, hey, the square root of 2 doesn't have a fraction, it's irrational. Pythagoras was so angry that he ordered one of his men to literally drown the guy. He didn't want anyone else in the world to know the truth about the square root of 2. Finally, let's complete our entire world of numbers by calling these real numbers. Real numbers include everything inside the circle, from natural numbers to whole numbers to integers to rational numbers and even irrational numbers. Now, these are the numbers you will encounter every day, and it's also the numbers we will use in this course. And if you're thinking, well, if our world is a world of real numbers, is there a world of fake numbers? And actually, yes, there is. But we don't call them fake numbers, we call them imaginary numbers, which sounds similar enough. Now, imaginary numbers include things like the square root of negative numbers, and this world will blow your mind. But to get there, we need to first conquer our world of real numbers, so let's get to it and start mastering real numbers.
Okay, everyone. Who understood the video fully? Who could understand the video fully? The entire video. Maybe not all of you. From the first watch, yeah, okay, you understand. Very good. Okay, Maya, thank you. Good. So what we want to do now is ask a couple of questions. The first question is, who can tell us what they understood from the video? Anything that they caught, anything that they heard and watched. I want anyone, if you want to participate, raise your hand. Just try to tell me anything you understood from the video by speaking. Okay, we need participation in speaking. This is a workshop. It's supposed to be interactive. We need to speak with one another. So if you want to participate, please raise your hand. Tell me anything you understood from the video. Okay, Muayyad, go on.
The video talk about numbers, how numbers start. First, it was a natural number, which is 1, 2, 3. After that, when need 0, so they call it whole number, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. And after that, when a human need negative minus number, so -1, then 0, then +1, so they call it a negative number, they add it. After that, when they need like 0.7, 0.5, they call it rational number. Then this is one group of number, and there was also another group of number which is irrational number, and all of these they call it real number. And last they talk about imaginary number. So it was all about general idea about numbers.
Thank you very much, Mayed. You are definitely right. You summarized most of the, or let's say all the types of numbers. Not the entire video, but the general idea, which is the types of numbers. Thank you very much, Mayed. Okay, Hajar as Ramadan or Ramadan. Go ahead. What did you understand from the video? Anything you want to participate about? Anything you understood, you heard? We cannot hear you, Hajar. Go on, Hajar. If you want to participate, no problem. Okay, Naba. What did you understand from the video?
Hello, Miss.
Hello.
The video tell us about the types of number and how they reach to the numbers.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, the video talks about the numbers and the types of numbers. Anyone who wants to add anything? Okay, from the chat, I see a couple of messages. Okay. How can we, sorry, where is it? How we can spell all kind of numbers, and we have many different numbers to use it in maths or real life. Yes, this is a mathematical video, right? Which talks about numbers and the types of numbers. This is like the foundations of any mathematical book. They will start with numbers and the types of numbers. So yeah, Fatima Al-Hashim. The video talks about the numbers, how they started, the real numbers, and the imaginary numbers. Thank you very much. Yes, you are right. Maria or Maria, go ahead.
The video talks about the types of number, which the first types talk about the natural number, which starts from 1 to infinity. And the second type, whole number, which include the 0 and the integers, which include the positive and the negative numbers. And rational numbers, which we can write it as a numerator and denominator. And the internal numbers, which includes non-square roots and a constant number as the pi.
Thank you very much, Maria. Yes, you are definitely right. You described it very well. So, yes, there are how many types of number, or not types, let's say how many categories of numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 categories of numbers, right? So the first category is the natural numbers, which starts from 1. This is a set of numbers, right? Why is it called the natural numbers, this set of numbers. Why is it called natural numbers? From the video, did you understand did you get the answer? You should have gotten the answer from the video itself. It talked about the natural numbers and why we actually called them the natural numbers. So does anyone remember why they are called natural numbers? I would like to play the video again so that you can catch this, right? And other. So let me ask a couple of questions, and then we will re-watch the video again and try to catch these answers, okay? Catch these information. Okay, the second question, maybe, let's see. What Pythagoras, the scientist, I think he's called Pythagoras, right? What was he feeling unright or uncomfortable about? He felt uncomfortable about a set of numbers. What was it? Which set was the one that he felt uncomfortable with? Okay, this is the second question. The third question is about irrational numbers, right? What is exactly irrational numbers? Okay, and yeah. So let's watch the video again to try to answer these three questions. The first question, I'll repeat the questions again. The first question, why is the natural numbers called the natural numbers? Why we call them, why we chose this name, the natural numbers? The second question was about Pythagoras. What was he feeling uncomfortable with? With which set was he feeling uncomfortable with? And the third question is about irrational numbers. What is irrational numbers? The second and third question are very related, by the way. So yeah, let's watch the video again and try to catch these information.
We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how there are a lot of types of animals in our world, there are a lot of types of numbers out there as well. So to learn all of these, let's travel all the way back to the Egyptians and the Babylonians when they first came up with what we call natural numbers. These are numbers that we use every day, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And these are also known as counting numbers because we can literally use them to count things. Like I have 1 head, you have 2 eyeballs, and I have 10 fingers. Even Google is based on a counting number. The name Google comes from one at Google, and that is 1 with 100 zeros behind it. So natural numbers are pretty useful, but the story doesn't end here. A few hundred years after that, a mathematician in India named Brahmagupta pondered this. How do I count nothing? For example, if this basket has 3 apples and this basket has 1 apple, how do we represent a basket with no apples? Thus, 0 was born and our world of numbers expanded with a new layer called whole numbers. And now whole numbers are basically the same as natural numbers, but now we include a 0. So time went on, mathematicians all over the world were just happy chipping away at their math problems when all of a sudden a few of them, first in China and then in Greece and then in India, started getting answers that were below 0. You and I know that these are just negative numbers, but back then it was a strange concept to think about. So to solve this problem, mathematicians put their foot down and said, you know what, we're gonna create a whole new subset of numbers and call it negative numbers. The invention of negative numbers now added on a new layer to our world called integers. And this includes all the whole numbers and all the natural numbers from earlier, but now includes their negative counterparts. Then in 6th century BC, good old Pythagoras came along and said, what happens if we take one integer and then create a ratio over another integer? And thus, he discovered rational numbers. Notice how the word rational has the word ratio inside of it. These are numbers like 1/2, -5/9, 0.7, and 0.3 repeating. A rational number is basically any number in the world that you can write as a fraction. So even though 0.7 is a decimal, you can still write that as a fraction 7/10. And even though 0.3 repeating is a repeating decimal, you can write it as a fraction 1/3. But then, are there any numbers in the world that can't be written as a fraction? Yes, there are, and these are called irrational numbers, but they can't sit with the rest of the crew. Now, irrational numbers are just numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. You probably know the number pi, that's pretty famous, and that is 3.14159 and so on. That's irrational. Or how about the golden ratio? And actually, a lot of square roots are irrational numbers, like the square root of 2 and the square root of 3. Let's go back for a second to our good friend Pythagoras. Now, Pythagoras, since he invented rational numbers, he hated the idea of irrational numbers. And legend has it that one day, one of his followers came up to him and said, "Hey, the square root of 2 doesn't have a fraction. It's irrational." Pythagoras was so angry that he ordered one of his men to literally drown the guy. He didn't want anyone else in the world to know the truth about the square root of 2. Finally, let's complete our entire world of numbers by calling these real numbers. Real numbers include everything inside the circle, from natural numbers to whole numbers to integers to rational numbers and even irrational numbers. Now, these are the numbers you will encounter every day, and it's also the numbers we will use in this course. And if you're thinking, well, if our world is a world of real numbers, is there a world of fake numbers? And actually, yes, there is. But we don't call them fake numbers, we call them imaginary numbers, which sounds similar enough. Now, imaginary numbers include things like the square root of negative numbers, and this world will blow your mind. But to get there, we need to first conquer our world of real numbers, so let's get to it and start mastering real numbers.
Yes. Who got the first answer of the first question, which is, why is the natural numbers called the natural numbers? The set that starts from 1 to infinity, why do we call them natural numbers? Who knows the answer? Okay, Mariam, go ahead.
Because we use it for counting. We use it for counting.
Amazing. You are definitely right. Correct. Because we use them for counting. That's why they are called natural, normal, right? These are the counting numbers, the numbers that we use for our day-to-day life to count stuff, to count things. Just like in the video, they gave an example of counting the eyeballs. So we have 1 and 2 eyeballs and 1 head, so on and so forth, right? So we can count stuff with 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples. These are the normal numbers, the natural numbers that we can count. Okay, what about the second question, which is, what was Pythagoras uncomfortable with? Okay, Hajar, Ramadan, and okay, Hajar, Ramadan, go ahead. Wait, Hajar, Hajar, Ramadan. Go ahead, Hajar. What was Pythagoras uncomfortable with? Which category of numbers, which set of numbers was he so angry about and he was so pissed about that he even drowned someone because of it, if you remember. Okay, Naba, go ahead.
Pythagoras was uncomfortable about the irrational numbers.
Yes, right, correct. Why was he uncomfortable though? Who knows the reason? Very good, Naba. Who knows the reason why Pythagoras was angry or uncomfortable with this set of numbers, which is the irrational numbers? Okay, Hajar, go ahead. Yes, Hajar, can you hear me? You can speak. I'm giving you the mic. I'm allowing you to speak. Okay. Does anyone else know the answer for this question? I don't raise my hand. Okay, but it shows to me that you've risen that you raising your hand in the pop-up, but it's fine. It's okay. Okay, so why was he angry about this irrational numbers? What is the reason? Who knows the answer? Why was he uncomfortable with the irrational numbers? If no one answers, I will repeat the video again. How about that? Okay, Maria, go ahead.
Maybe because of the root of 2, because it equals 1.4, which is not a fraction.
Amazing. You are definitely correct. Thank you very much, Maria. Yes, you are right. The irrational numbers, why we are calling them irrational numbers, which is the opposite of rational numbers, because as it was mentioned in the video, these are the numbers that we cannot write as fractions, right? These are decimal numbers, but that we cannot get this decimal answer, the decimal number with a fraction. Unlike the rational numbers, which can be written in both ways, as a decimal and as a fraction, as a ratio. However, irrational numbers, like the square root of 2, there is no fraction that gives us the exact value of the square root in decimal, in the decimal form, as a fraction. There isn't. That's what the video said. I will repeat only that portion in the video, and I want you to pay attention to it. Let's see, where is it? Here, I think it was here. Yes. So here, the irrational.
rest of the crew.
Listen to it and try to catch the answer. Okay.
Now, irrational numbers are just numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. You probably know the number pi, that's pretty famous, and that is 3.14159 and so on. That's irrational. Or how about the golden ratio? And actually, a lot of square roots are irrational numbers, like the square root of 2 and the square root of 3. Let's go back for a second to our good friend Pythagoras. Now, Pythagoras, since he invented rational numbers, he hated the idea of irrational numbers. And legend has it that one day, one of his followers came up to him and said, "Hey, the square root of 2 doesn't have a fraction. It's irrational." Pythagoras was so angry that he ordered one of his men to literally drown the guy. He didn't want anyone else in the world to know the truth about the square root of 2. Finally,
Okay. So as you heard from the video, Pythagoras, once he heard that there are numbers that cannot be written as fraction, there are decimal numbers that cannot be written as fraction, he hated this idea that there is a myth that one of his followers told him about the square root of 2 and that it cannot be written as a fraction and that it cannot be considered as a rational number. So he drowned him. He killed him, meaning he killed him by water. He immersed his head into the water. He drowned him into the water and killed him because of the square root of 2, which is a decimal number, but cannot be represented as a fraction. So, okay, we understood this. What about any other anything else that you noticed in the video that is worth mentioning? Do you want to add anything? Would you like to say anything about the video? Would you like to describe the video? Is it good? Is it beneficial? Is it interesting? Do you like the subject of math? We want to talk. We want to spend this, let's say, 6-7 minutes talking and trying to have a conversation about this video, or about the subject of this video, or even any other subject if you like. If there aren't any questions, I'm going to start. I'm going to repeat the video, but we will only repeat what the speaker, what the person in the video says. I interest the video because I love math. Yes, this video interests you because you love the subject maths, right? Amazing. If you can speak, it will be better. If you can speak, anyone else, if you want to participate, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to start to repeat the video, but with pauses, as we will repeat every sentence before 9, maybe 40 or 9:35, as we will end the workshop maybe at 9:35, 9:40. That's maximum. So, does anyone want to add anything about this? Does anyone want to talk about any subject? Okay, let's go back then to the beginning of the video. Okay, and listen and repeat with the person. Listen first, then I will ask you to repeat what this person says, okay?
We all live in a world of numbers.
Who can say what she just said? Raise your hand if you can say it. The lecture duration is supposed to be 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half, or even 2 hours, if you like that. But it's fine for me to end it with the 1 hour and a half as the duration, okay? But it's better to have some sort of practice. I want you to get to know this way of practicing, which is to listen to this person and practice along by repeating exactly what the person says, okay? Get to the habit of doing that. It might be boring, but still it will be very helpful in language acquisition. If you want to acquire the language, use this method. This is what I used, and this is how I acquired the language, although I still make mistakes, but I acquired the language as much as I could using this method, which is repetition. I repeat what the person says in the video until I actually even subconsciously memorize the whole video. Maybe you can go back to the course I gave you before in Afaq. I explained this so many times, and I even shared my own story of how I could actually acquire the language. I didn't learn the language. Maybe I did, but I wasn't really good at it. And I even hated English, but subhanallah, it made me even a teacher, right, in English. So yes, go back and listen to the other course that I gave you, and you will understand more about language acquisition. So for now, let's repeat what the person says, okay? I will restart it again, so please pay attention, okay?
We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how there are
Who can repeat what she just said?
We all live in a world of numbers. We all live in a world of numbers, but just like how we all live in a world of numbers.
Okay, Mariam, go ahead.
We all live in a world of numbers.
Amazing, amazing, Mariam. Yes, thank you very much. You are right. Anyone else? What did the person in the video say? The first sentence of the video, what was it? Okay, Maria, go ahead.
We all live in a world of numbers.
Definitely, yes, correct. Thank you very much. Hajar, would you like to participate?
We all live in a world of numbers.
Thank you very much. Yes, you are right. Naba, go ahead.
We all live in a world of numbers.
Definitely. Thank you very much. See, when you repeat the sentence exactly as the person says, without any pauses or and making mistakes, then if you reach the level of just repeating exactly what the person says without making mistakes, then you are really good. So how can you reach this level? By repetition. Make mistakes, it's fine, then try again. Rewind the video and listen to the sentence again and repeat, so on and so forth, to the entire video. So we all live in a world of numbers. What is next? Let's see.
But just like how there are a lot of types of animals in our world,
But just like how there are a lot of animals in the world,
there are a lot of types of numbers out there
there are a lot of types of numbers out there
as well. So to
as
learn
well.
all these, let's travel all the way back to the
So to learn all these, let's travel all the way back
Egyptians and the Babylonians.
to the Egyptians and the Babylonians
They first came up with what we call
when they first came up with what we call
natural numbers.
natural numbers. But as much as you practice repeating every sentence exactly as the person says, you will improve so much when it comes to listening and speaking, both. And try to, even if you didn't understand the video, if you didn't understand a sentence, it's fine. Just repeat the sentence, repeat watching the video. You will have a guess of the meaning. And that's what we need. That's actually even better than not having any meaning or not any understanding of the video, right? So repeat by repetition. You will act like a child who would acquire his or her first language. This is the secret of perfecting and mastering any language, which is by repetition and through language acquisition and connotation. Thank you so much. I hope that this workshop was beneficial to you. I hope that you learned something new. And I hope that we can maybe do another workshop with other types of, with other skills, other English skills like what? Like reading and writing, for example, even for grammar if you like. So maybe in the future, I might do another workshop in this regard. So thank you very much for attending. And for the person who asked whether there is a certificate of attendance or not, I think there is, but you have to check with the AFAQ organizers, because I'm not sure about that. So thank you very much. If you have any question before I leave, go ahead and ask your question. But one note, please, repeat the video. This same video, I'm going to share it in my Telegram channel, okay? I'm going to share it. Please repeat it as much as possible, as many times as possible, and try to understand anything, everything in this video by repetition. Then even if you could try to like have the definitions, look up the definitions of the new words that you don't know, so on and so forth. So if you want to ask any question about anything really, not only about this workshop, anything in English that I can help you with, please go ahead and ask me, and I will try my best to answer your question. Naba al-Bahrani, go ahead. Okay. If you have any question, Go ahead and ask me before I leave. I'm going to wait for 2 minutes before I end the session. You're welcome, Maria. You're welcome. I hope that the workshop was beneficial to you and that you found it interesting. If anyone has a question, please go ahead and ask your question. Do video games help you learn a language? Yes, video games do help you learn a language, but only if you really want to learn a language. Well, I'd rather call it acquiring a language rather than learning a language, because